Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel about cross stitch and every once in a while some other crafty goodness. If you are brand new to my channel, I want to say a big old welcome. Thank you so much for hitting play. I hope you like what you see, and I hope you'll hit subscribe and come back. If you are a returning viewer, I want to say an extra special thank you for coming back and watching again. This is my 5th video, and I am having a blast. After this week, taping will be a bit more challenge. I'm sure my life update is pretty much the same as all of you guys' life's updates. 2 days ago, we found out that my daughter's college is suspending classes to online classes for 3 weeks, so she is on her way home today. Yesterday, we found out that my son's high school will be going to online classes for 2 weeks minimum, starting on Monday. And the same day yesterday, we found out that my husband's work is telling people to work from home indefinitely until they decide different. So come next week, I will have everybody home with me. So taping might be a little bit more fun or loud or noisy or challenging, but that's okay. We'll make it work. So I have been starting my videos with maybe like a little craft from the past because I don't have a lot of cross-stitch goodness to show you since I've just started back last fall. This though is related to cross-stitch in some ways. Of course I was late to the party, but I'm always late to the party. I discovered the 24-hour of cross-stitch, Quirks and Stitches by Jen Lee. The notebook or the PDF or the download, however you want to call it, on Etsy. And I am a list person. I love lists. I love little calendars and things like that. So when I discovered it mid to late February, I said it's still worth it to me. So I got it and downloaded it. And some people have them in such pretty ways. Me, I just grabbed an old binder that my kids no longer use. And what I did though was one of the things I use most often is the calendar because I write down what I stitch daily. So in order to find it without flipping around all the time, I put one of my giant paperclip bookmarks on it. So this way I can go right to the calendar and I just put it on one page. So the calendar right now is on this flip side and then I'm able to get right there. These little cuties, I had a lot of fun making these a long time ago, and they're super easy to make if you ever wanted bookmarks. You get giant paper clips from the office supply store, you find little itty bitty stamps, or you could do digital art, that would be fine. Couple different punches, layer them, and then it is just glue gunned. The back is just plain. Glue gun those two sides together and you have a bookmark. And you can do pretty much anything as long as it's small enough to fit in there. So that is in my 24 hours of cross stitch calendar, and it helps me find it every day right away. What I am doing is writing down what I stitch every day. For my acrostic, I am more goal-oriented in the sense of specific parts of the pattern goal rather than stitches or time. I forget to keep track of stitches, I forget to keep track of time, but saying, okay, by the end of the month I want this done, or I want to do this parts of the pattern in a certain amount of time, that to me is really concrete. So that's what I've been doing. And that's really working well for me. I'm enjoying it a lot. This will be my first full month of doing it. And I think I'm really going to enjoy keeping it up with the rest of the year. I'll link below to the Etsy shop where you can get the PDF if you are a calendar person and if you're like me and you hadn't heard about it when everybody else knew it was coming, so that you'd have a chance potentially to get it too. So that is my craft from the past. Now let's talk current, and I have a couple finishes, just stitchy finishes. I finally finished July Cottage from Country Cottage Needleworks. I was near the end last week and I did it. I finally got it done. So that's the finish there. I have no idea how I'm gonna finish it, fully finish it, but I'm excited to get one done. This is on the opposite side of Vintage Country Mocha. So the side without any of the marbling. It was a super fun stitch. The house took me a little longer than I expected, but once I got going after that, it was pretty quick. at least for me. My second finish was actually a start last week, but it was the teeny tiny start. Remember last week I talked to you about the free pattern at Plum Street for the St. Patrick's Day. So this is my finish. Last week I had this much done, and I asked you guys, what should I do next? And I got a couple of great responses from Clotheslines Crafts Caroline. She suggested going farther, which was a great idea. And then Marla also mentioned maybe adding a name or the word welcome. So I ended our last name, O'Shea. As you can see, we're big on shamrocks in this house. In fact, our dog is called Shamrock. So that is the finish there. I didn't have any idea how to find the actual pattern for letters. So Google is my friend. And I found a site called stitchpoint.com. Now, I had Googled little fonts because I wanted something that was really small. And that was a site where she has 6 free fonts, and you can plug in whatever letters you want, and then it will generate the stitch. And I don't know, it might have asked what you wanted your width stitch count to be, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I can't remember now. But if you want something quick and easy and small, I would recommend looking at that Stitch Point. That was really helpful, and it gave me a quick way to add a little personalization. What I really would like to do with this is to make it almost like into a hanging ornament, like fluffy, pillowish. I don't sew. I mean, at all, I don't sew. So are there any tutorials or step-by-steps to show how to finish it if you don't sew at all? I've looked up some where you do, good side to good side, and then you stitch around, and then you hand stitch the top. Have any of you hand stitched the whole thing? Is it difficult? How hard is it? That would be what I would like to do, and then be able to hang it up. And with the personalization like that, I could hang it up year round. So if you have any suggestions, or if you have experience and encouragement that it wasn't that bad, please leave me a comment, because I would love to hear about your experiences. Sewing, I just never got into. Even for a while, sewing on paper was really popular in the scrapbooking world and crafting. And they even had sewing machines, small little ones for paper. And I never got into even that part. So I need a little bit of help when it comes to the sewing part for finishing. Any suggestions would be greatly appreciated. So those are my 2 finishes. Exciting. I worked on finishing my shamrocks yesterday so that I had that finish line in sight, so I wanted to get that one done. So now I can just figure out how to fully finish it and how I can do that. But I also worked on my whips this week. Oh, and I forgot to mention though, this was actually part of the hashtag Lucky Birthday Sal that Erin at 2 Martini Stitcher had going on in March because it's her birthday. And one of the things that you could do for the Sal was anything Irishy, so that's mine. And I will link her down below if you are interested in the Sal, because it's only the middle of March, so you've got plenty of time if you want to stitch something up. All right, now we go to whips. We are still working steadily on my Christmas Rules by Lizzie Kate, and what did I do? I did this one, Share Your Toys. And this is what I got. This one took me a lot longer than a lot of the other ones, and I don't know why. There it is. It just, I don't know. I don't know if it was the box around or what, but this one was a little bit longer than some of the others. But I kept my 1 a week, so I am down to 4 more. So within a month, I could have a finish on this, which is really exciting. The next one is, here we go, Listen for Reindeer. That one looks really cute, so I'm excited to stitch that one, and hopefully it'll get fun again. But I do have an end in sight, so I have no idea how I will finish this one, and it's a little intimidating because it's long and big, but we'll work on it when we get there. New adventures. My second whip, I forgot to take the thing out, excuse me, is Comfort Lighthouse by Carriage House Samplings. So as you know, I am stitching a little tiny bit as we go along each week to make it a bit more manageable. And this is where we are. Now this is done on 18 count Confederate gray. All of my work that you'll see is 18 count this week. And I finished the house finally. That house took a long time. And then I got a little bit more of what would be the water and then the mermaid tail. That mermaid tail is fiddly. So it is taking me a bit longer just because I really have to concentrate. Some of the other areas I was able to kind of go on autopilot and stitch, but because of the counting on that part, I think it's gonna look really cute when it's done, but it is making me concentrate just a little bit more than I might usually. But it's coming along, it's a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to seeing that mermaid emerge. She is so cool. And so we're getting there. I feel like I'm about halfway through on this one. So it's definitely something I feel like I can get done before summer and have that as a summer finish. All right, moving on. Summer ABCs. This one is from Little House Needleworks. Most of you know it. A lot of you have stitched them. I've seen them. In fact, I've seen a couple people are stitching this. I think right now I've seen it on a few Facebook groups and they're about where I am too. So it was fun to see that I'm not the last person stitching this. And I've got, so this is the whole thing. And then I worked on Lemonade and M and N. And I had forgotten to do underneath the ice cream cones. So that's where we are. I think there might be one little bit I'm missing leaf-wise here. I can't remember, but just about done. So then I'm going to move on to Picnics, O, P, and Q. And there is a house on that. So hopefully that house won't take as long as some of the other houses that I have stitched. But now that I've gotten along with it, I'm having more fun with this. At the tippy top, it was a little bit of a chore, especially this branch and then frogging. But now that I've gotten by that, I'm really enjoying it a lot more. And then my favorite whip, I think so far, right now that I'm working on this week, is the Halloween sampler. And that is from Cottage Garden Samplings. Again, I've seen some of you stitching this. And I did mine on Picture This Plus Shale. And this is where we are right now. I am plugging along. I got a little worried as I was going across that I had counted wrong. So after I finished broom, after broom is a whole nother word. It's creepy. And I will admit, I did count how many squares that is and how many squares I have left because I got a little nervous. I wasn't going to go down on the pattern anymore until I made sure that I wasn't going to run out of space on the side because that would have been very bad and depressing and sad. But this one is a lot of fun. I am stitching the little pictures as we go along because it kind of, I find the letters, if I do too much, a little monotonous, especially with the counting. I find that I'm making, I always count twice, well, 2, 3 times potentially when I have to move over because I'm always afraid I'm going to miscount. But with those little pictures, it helps a little bit because that way it gives me a little guidance if I'm starting a new word, and it also takes it away from just stitching the words. So I am still loving it on this fabric. I think it's going to look really pretty when it's all done. And that's exciting. So those are my whips. I do have a start though. I'm really excited. I finally did it. I finally started Suffrage Act. I got all of the threads. I'm doing it in the DMCs. And you know it, Little House Needleworks, Suffrage Act. This one is a Sal with Stitching with the Sisterlies, SWTS Suffrage. I don't know if the word act is at the end of the hashtag. I'll look that up and I will link that down below too, mentioning it if you're interested in the Sal. And here we have it. This is on just coffee tea dyed by me. It was white. This batch, I did a whole big section of it. And this batch actually, it reminds me a lot of the Country Vintage Mocha in the variations. which I like. I don't like the extreme dark with the light and that kind of thing. I like the more subtle variations. So I'm enjoying this. This so far, I really like stitching this. I got pretty far from just starting this, I think yesterday, but I was enjoying it and I just kept going at it. The one thing that I think I will have to change, so I did start some of the, I don't want to say white because it's more of a creamy white on the pole, and on this fabric I don't think that's gonna show up, and that's also her dress. So I think I am gonna change that. I'll probably just go brighter. I know some of the colors are a bit more muted, the muted versions of the reds and the blues and so on, but I think if I go brighter it'll be fine, because I really want to be able to see her in her dress and I don't want it to blend in too much. So I only did one thread of this. It had started off and I was kind of like, I'm not sure. I said I'll stitch the thread and see how that looks, and if it's really looking like it's blending in and it's not looking good, I'll rip it out. So I finished the thread. I look at it, and I mean, I suppose if I look far away and the light's really good, but I really want to be able to see that part. So I'll rip that out and retry it on something a little bit brighter. I'm not sure which one. I'll throw the different whites and brights on there and see which one jumps out at me. But I'll work on that this week in case you are doing a color like this and you like the DMCs and that one is a little too muted for you. But I like this one. This one's gonna be fun to stitch, and I definitely am looking forward this week to doing a bit more stitching on it. And those are my starts, whips, where I am. So I have 5 current things that are in the rotation that I will work on next week, unless I really want to start something new. I don't think so this week, but I say that, and then a day comes and I say, maybe I'll just start something. I did do some shopping, and that's part of why I might start something. Not a lot for pattern wise. I actually only have one pattern that I received. I had to buy this. I know a lot of you are working on it. It's the Prim Village, and it is Lori Holt of Bee in My Bonnet. I did order this one from Fat Quarter Shop. I am not doing the thread pack that they have with it, the Orifloss. I am doing DMCs. So I grabbed all those DMCs. Actually, I grabbed them before I even got the chart. So I have them all ready to go. I don't know what fabric. I might look at my coffee tea dyed, the big bolt that I did Suffrage Act on, because I'm really liking how it looks. And so I think that might be a good option for me and a good choice. I'll throw the floss on there and see what it looks like. So I don't know if I'll start this one this week. I think there's a sale already started on it. I have no idea what the hashtag is for it. But I seem to join these things. I'm always late to the party. So I might be joining this one a little late, but I am definitely looking forward to stitching this. I like the colors of all the different houses, so it should be fun. And it'll really challenge me with house stitching, since I always say the houses take me forever. Beyond that, all I got was fabric. I had placed an order with, I have to look at Garibaldi's Needleworks. Now, it's on Etsy. I'll link it down below. It says here on the thing, Garibaldi'sNeedleworks.com, but you can forward your links to Etsy shops. And I know I ordered this from Etsy, so I will double check and link to that. You're gonna see a trend. There's a lot of different blues. I think because I've got oceany stuff that I want to do and that kind of thing. So I ordered a bunch of different shades because I didn't know what stuff would look like. This first one is called Blue Ice. So pretty. So it's a lighter blue, and it's, again, all of their fabrics have really nice subtle variations with the light and then a little bit dark. So I'm really, really looking forward to stitching with these. Fabric wise, it is not as soft. You know, Picture This Plus, their Ada it's very, I don't want to say thin, because it's not thin, but it's it definitely flops around a little bit when you're stitching with it. Softer, it's a lot softer. That's the word I'm looking for. This might not be as heavy as Ada, especially some of the ones that I get and then dye, but it's a nice in between, and it definitely has a nice weight and heft to it. So it's a good in between if you don't want the super stiff Ada, but the softer Ada might be a little bit too soft for you. I'm really liking this. So I'll let you know more when I start stitching on it, but I like the feel of it. I like the weight of it. I think it's gonna work nice. All right, the second blue is called Periwinkle. So we go a little darker. I'm going from light to dark. So that's that one. Ooh, the lighting here is not great. We are getting a ton of rain today. It's supposed to clear up later on. But it is pouring, so I had to turn on the extra lights. So it's a little bit brighter, unnaturally bright than it normally would be. This last blue is called Wedgwood Blue, so it's the deepest of all the blues. And that's what that one looks like. Really like that blue too. The next one, it has kind of blue tinges to it, but it's on the gray family. So it's called Blue Gray. So it does, but it's definitely grayer. And I definitely want to explore some gray types of fabric for a few different patterns in the future. So this was one that I first tried out. And that is the Blue Gray. Depending on the light, it looks a little bluer sometimes or grayer. That's that right there. That's a good representation. Two more. The next one is called Petal Pink. So this is totally out of my wheelhouse. I have not done anything in pinks, but it was so pretty. I like it a lot. I don't have any clue what I'm gonna stitch on it yet. Certainly would be cute with anything Easter or that kind of, but that's what it looks like close up. And then the last one is called Pistachio. And this is what this one looks like. Again, I'm not sure what I'm gonna stitch on. I have a couple ideas with the Pistachio, but actually that would be cute with Easter depending on the pattern as well. Maybe those Easter houses from Waxing Moon, I don't know. I say all this stuff for Easter, and then you know Easter's gonna go here to there, and I'm not gonna have stitched anything Easter. So then I'll be working on it for next Easter. And that's it close up. So that one is called Pistachio. There are, of course, a bunch of other colors that I would love to try, but I held myself to these. I will link them down below. I think they are on vacation. I checked their Etsy shop the other day, and I think they're on vacation till tomorrow. So their shop is on vacation. You can't see any of their product. But then after that, I think because they're adding new items. So whether or not they went to market, maybe, and they're adding items for that, I have no idea. I do know that this came in a pretty timely fashion. I had ordered it, and with Etsy you can say, you know, this will ship in 3 to 5 days, or 1 to 3 days, or 3 to 5 weeks, or whatever. I think this was a 1 to 3 week time frame, and from when I ordered it to when I was getting it, it ended up 2 weeks, which I thought was great. And they were fantastic. We had a little snafu with delivery. The post office said they had delivered it, which they hadn't. And so I had to track it down at the post office. But I had reached out to them to ask them what kind of package it was in, so that if I went to the post office, I could describe it as well. And they answered me pretty promptly and got back to me. And now I want to let them know that everything came safely. And I'm looking forward to trying some more of their colors. But good customer service, good timely delivery, and each one of them comes in this kind of package, so it's completely in plastic, so you know, for rain or whatever, the elements. But then they also put it in an enclosed mailing plastic, and then they close that up and put it in another. So it was basically triple. These were triple wrapped, so that there was nothing that was going to leak onto them and cause them any stains or anything like that, which I really appreciated too. I always appreciate really good packaging from stores. That means a lot. This week, I know I've never done a giveaway. I don't want to say the word. I'm so scared after everybody has some issues with different giveaways and how we're not supposed to say that on the comments. But I was sent, I had placed an order, I don't remember where, and they were very nice. They sent a nice little a gift of their own, but I won't use it, and so I'd like to pass it on as a little bit of a giveaway. It's small, it's something little, and the good news is, by the end of the videos, there's only like 2 of you that watch. So if you are interested in this, you have a really good shot of winning it. So this is a Dinky Dyes silk. Let's see if I can. A Dinky Dyes silk skein. Let's see if I can get. It is called Hawthorn. Number 30 Hawthorn, and it's 8 meters. So I guess that would be the standard that you would get. It is kind of purpley, kind of tawny, topazy. So I bet you that would make an interesting, oh, that might work. It might make for a really interesting stitch. So if you would like to try this out, if you've never used silk or you love silk or you would just like to give it a go and put your name in for the giveaway, my question to you is, what's your favorite color? I thought of that because I was looking at this and there are shades of purple. And when I was in kindergarten, I remember this vividly. My favorite color was purple, and we had to make a book about our favorite color. And everything was page after page of purple. I have no idea where that went. Somewhere over the years, it ended up getting thrown out. But what's funny, and why I'm really interested, is my favorite color has changed over the years. And if you were to ask me right now, what's your favorite color? I mean, maybe blue. You saw how many blue fabrics I ordered, but I'm not sure I could tell you. I think from day to day it switches. If I see something like, oh, that's pretty. Oh, that's pretty. If I had only one color I could live with in life, maybe right now I'd say blue, but I'm not 100% sure. So for you, do you have a favorite color or do you just love all color? If you have a favorite color, what is it? So if you answer that question, and I guess everybody says, don't say giveaway, don't say free. If you could please be a subscriber, I would really appreciate it. And then next week, I will pick a winner. And hopefully somebody can use this because I'm right now really, really content with my DMCs. And I think the next step would be a fancy floss. I'm not sure. I don't know, maybe I'm a little afraid of the silk, but I'm not sure my next step would be silks anyway. And so I'd like somebody to be able to use it rather than it sitting just at my house until I don't know what to do with it anyway. So that is the giveaway, Hawthorn Dinky Dyes hand-dyed silk. And the last thing we have is, what am I doing this week? Well, I'm definitely going to work on the Suffrage Act, which is the new start from this week, plus all the other whips I have. I've thought about Prim Village. Because it's a Sal, I kind of want to jump in, but I'm not sure. We'll see. And then because I have all of those blues, what I do with it? Oh yeah, remember my Annie B's Widow's Walk? I have all of these blues. How pretty would this look? Let me see if I pull them out. I have 3 different shades depending on what kind of color scheme I want. Let me see if I can. How pretty would this pattern look on one of those? So I think I have the flosses, so I might pull these out with the floss and see if one of those jumps out at me. We'll see. I'm not sure. I don't know what I'm doing, but those are 2 possibilities of starts this week. If I'm really loving and content with my current whips and my Suffrage Act, maybe I just do those. I do have some stuff coming. I do have an order that was placed this week that hasn't come in yet. And so all bets are off when you get a new order with different charts and you say, oh, I have to start that now. So I am not guaranteeing a that something else might not come in that catches my eye, and these poor 2 charts get pushed back for another week or 2. And like I said, next week's taping will be an adventure. I think I'm really gonna need stitching with everybody home. I love everybody in my family dearly, but we are generally not with each other 24/7. So that will be a fun challenge, especially with 2 of them having to take classes online. And so that whole making sure you're doing your work, even if it's in your pajamas, that's fine, but making sure you're doing your work in a timely fashion and not letting things slide. So hopefully that will all go well. I'll let you know next week how we're doing with it. Until then, I hope you all are well. I hope you're taking care of yourself.